Okay, we're good. So happy Wednesday noon bells, everybody. And my name's Kathy, for those of you that might not have met me before, if you're joining later in your own convenience. This is the Express Yoga Flow. So we're just going to get into every joint and muscle, little body part that we can. We're going to try to give our just our mental landscape a chance to float into the background just by getting really grounded into the body. And hi, Jennifer. So yeah, as far as anything that you might need today, nothing really. I always have my flat blanket or towel down on my mat for my knees. And we are going to start standing up today. Sorry about that if you're already lying down. Just kind of going on the idea that we may have been doing some screen time, some sitting, and so we'll try and keep this this area, the psoas, kind of open to start with. So I just invite you to come to stand in whatever way feels comfortable with the feet. Don't go into any thinking or headiness about it. Just land here. And you can keep your eyes open, actually, so that you start to intentionally take in your surroundings. So you don't have to swivel your head or anything, but just see what's in front of you. So already you start to invite a sensory focus. So this would be the waking up awareness to the field of vision. And once you've done that, you can either keep the eyes open and not really looking at anything in particular, or you can go ahead and close them and start to take the awareness right down into the feet, into the ground. You might lift the toes so that you connect and feel the earth coming up underneath the toes as you lay them back down, and the heels and a little bit of space underneath the arches, and connect with this very stable, deep-rooted, grounded place. It's the Apana energy. And then start to move your awareness up the body, up the calves, the knees, into the hips, just briefly seeing what's here. Something might jump out for you. Maybe there's a tender spot or a tight area or something that's out of balance. The fingertips, wrists, elbows, tops of the shoulders. Feel the prana life force, that other side of energy that's lifting the crown of the head. Taking the big picture of the body as you stand in neutral here, and any other things that are going on. Maybe there's an emotional tone or a sense of boredom or anticipation. Let's get on with it. Just connecting with earth and sky along the spine as you now start to notice that breath is happening in this shape. So body, breath, maybe sound. Let's take a few breaths together, breathing in through the nose, and just pause at the top of that inhale. And then exhale, open the mouth. Notice the movement of the energy and that downward feeling into the feet. And then pull it up from the feet, from the earth, all the way up. Crown of the head, feel that lifting and widening, and hold the breath there for a moment. Feel the fullness, and then exhale, soften shoulders, knees, ground down through the feet, send it right down into the center of the earth. One more time, pull it up from the center of the earth, up the legs, hips, the spine, the crown of the head, and pause. And exhale, release, 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 bring it back down. So we'll balance those two energies. We'll reach the arms up. Breathing in, and right away we'll just fold over the legs, rolling down, just warming up the spine, just hang up at the bottom there, shifting the weight, forward and back, left and right.
Take a breath in, fill the belly, and then exhale, roll it up. So bend the knees a lot, retract the ribs. Feel the shoulders start to stack up. Loop the shoulders up and back and around, and then reach up. Take a little upper back bend. Just loose and creative here, bending through the knees, belly to thighs. Exhale, just stay down there with the chin towards the chest. Do a few head bobs, maybe swing the hips, and take another breath in. And exhale to empty all of that out, rolling it back up. And reach the arms this time. Take the left wrist, press down through the feet, and at the same time, lift up and over towards the right. Left foot presses, opening up the gills on the left side. Back to center, reach up, inhale, switch. So left hand to right wrist, pressing right foot down, and out of that, find the length out through the right fingertips. Expanding through the right side of the lungs. Take another breath there. Inhale, come through center. Let the hands come to the back of the skull. Bend the knees a little bit again. Send the elbows really wide. So not a chair pose, but the bend in the knees so the lower back can be really wide. And then squeeze the elbows towards the ears or towards the forehead and start to look up a little bit. So cradle the head, keep that length in the back neck. It's not a big movement, but you might feel something underneath the shoulder blades. Keeping the ribs, floating ribs, dropping down and widening the back for another inhale. And then exhale, just stand that up, release the arms, reaching up, inhale. Bend the knees, exhale to fold. Come up halfway this time, breathing in. More space along the entire spine, tailbone to the crown of the head. Fold on the exhale. Fingertips to the floor, or if you do have things that you like to use for height, maybe blocks, take the left leg back. Curl the toes under and start to sink the hips a little bit, finding a little bit of that collarbone lift. Let's take 3 breaths there. The back knee could tap down, or just keep pressing out through the back heel for 2. And 1. And then again, you can tap the back knee down or not. We're going to straighten out the front leg and draw the right hip crease back and chin to chest. Shift forward on the inhale. Squeezing the shoulder blades a little bit. Just try to keep light on the hands. Exhale, draw the right hip crease back in space. The toes towards the face on that right leg. Just to feel the back line open up. One more time, shift through and forward. And then exhale, we'll press the palms or fists towards the floor and lift up and back into a downward dog. And right away, we'll shift to hands and knees, bringing the tops of the feet to the floor and squeeze the shoulders into a cow. Exhale into cat and move your hips back a little bit towards a child's pose, but don't come all the way. Squeeze the shoulder blades, breathing in. And exhale, taking it back in the direction of child's pose. And one more time, inhaling and exhaling. And come to tabletop shape again, just a neutral spine now. Curl the toes under, pressing inner palms, spin the elbows forward and lift the belly, and the knees might float up a little bit. We'll take 3 breaths there. Strong front body, solid back body. As you exhale, send the hips up and back. Taking downward dog with a deep bend at the knees, or you can take it into any other extended child's pose or child's pose. We'll take 3 breaths there. Just play with it, coming out of some of the stuckness of the day, and when in doubt, just tap into any of the sensations, any of the senses, sight, sound, breath. Let's bring the big toes together now and take the right leg up and back for a 3-legged dog. And start to turn the toes outward, so feel a rotation in the hip extending outward, and then bring the toes back so the hips are level. And then open it up again. So keep the leg straight for this one. And then just close off the hip a little bit, square it up again. One more time, open that up. And then square it off. And then bend the right knee towards the nose and shift the shoulders over the wrist. Lift that heel really high. You can lift your bum as well, so you've got some space to step forward with the right foot. And we're back to that low lunge for a breath. Inhale. And then push off the back foot to bring the feet together at the front. And take a fold over the legs. Just let it go. And circle out the wrists if they're feeling a little tender, just getting that warmed up. Let's come up halfway, breathing in. And fold on the exhale. And come all the way up. Inhale, the hands might come together, or you can press the palms towards the ceiling, whatever feels better for your shoulders, or you can go back to just holding a wrist. We're going to go over to the left side, and then come back to center. Press down through the feet, stay with that connection, and find the expanse and space of the prana. Inhale, center, bring the hands again behind the head, bring the elbows wide, that little bend at the knees, squeeze the elbows back. Feels like a cobra. And then elbows towards each other and start to lift the gaze. Maybe just the eyes are stretching up, maybe the chin lifts a little bit, feeling a stretch underneath the arms. And then stand it right up, inhale, fold, exhale. Halfway lengthen, breathing in. And exhale. Here we'll take the right leg back this time into that low lunge. Lifting belly, extending out through the heel. And taking 3 breaths there just to get into it. And the core lift so the fingers can be light or whatever's touching down there. You can stay with the knee lifted, or you can tap it down for one more breath in the lunge. And then exhale, take the left hip, outer hip back as you bow over that front leg. Option to have the back knee on the ground. Squeeze the shoulder blades to come forward, rocking out the lunge, and then exhale, picking up the belly. Shifting through again to breathe in. And exhale to take it back, toes towards the face, lengthen. Just stay here for another breath, get a little longer in your spine. And fold, exhale. Shift back through the low lunge. Position the palms under the shoulders and step back, downward facing dog. If you can. I'm having some trouble there today. Swinging out the hips and just finding a place where you can balance effort and ease for about 3 breath cycles. And you're welcome to do a forearm downward dog or a dolphin if you prefer. That's better for the wrists, so the hands can be clasped and the elbows underneath the shoulders with the feet walking in as an option. Let's do one more breath. Good, and let's meet in downward facing dog. Stretching out the left leg and take it to 3-legged dog. And then open up that hip and close the hip off. So the toes will be turning out. You might not see that happening, but just feeling that from the upper thigh bone in the ball and socket. Rock it one more time to open, squeeze the right inner thigh to center. And then close it off, bring the left knee towards the nose. Heel is lifted high, getting as much space between your sternum and the floor as you can, so you can step the left foot up now. Have another breath in that low lunge, breathing in. And exhale, bring the feet together at the front. Let's lengthen up, breathing in. And exhale to fold. And let's wiggle the feet apart a little further and bring the hands to the inner thighs and turn the toes out.
Start to come up into that wide goddess squat, adjusting the feet, and then contract the bum cheeks a little bit so that the knees can move away from center. And you can help just to open them up and just shift side to side. So we'll do the drop of the left shoulder and looking over towards the right, adding a little more space from the left ear down to the left sits bone and then back to center. And right shoulder drops, pressing thighs away. Back through center again. Just stand it up a little bit more if you can. Loop the shoulders out, working in the legs a little bit more. Let's take the arms into a cactus shape. Option to come up on the heels for a little balance. Just keeping a humor about it for one more breath. And then reach it up and lower the heels and then come back down. Exhale. Let's lift the heels. Inhale. Exhale. Come up if you can. The heels stay lifted. And then lower the heels. And one more time. Squeeze the elbows back. Only coming down to where you don't feel anxious in the lower back. Lift the heels. Inhale. Exhale. Stand it up. Inhale. Release. And bring the feet back a little closer together, more comfortably. Let's just circle out the shoulders, big arm circles, and I'm bending my knees here, just kind of keep the fluids moving. And changing direction. Good, and then just settle that. Just notice the uplifting energy, as well as the down drift, balancing those two. Let's do one more vinyasa and then we're going to bring it to the ground. So reach the arms up and fold over the legs and lengthen up halfway. Breathe in and exhale to fold. Let's press the palms. Step it back to plank this time. And we'll bring the left elbow down and the right elbow down. Forearm plank, looking back towards the feet. Hands can be apart, shoulder distance apart, or just clasp your hands together there. Choose whether to tap the knees down or keep them lifted for one more inhale. And exhale, let's have the knees come down and then the thighs. Shift the elbows forward as far as you like, as far as feels good in the low back. So if there's any compression feeling there, any pain in the lower back, then slide the elbows further forward. Still feeling just the reverse effects of having the shoulders in this position. Let's lower all the way down, exhale, and bring your forehead palm on palm. Stretch the legs out a little bit longer. We'll keep going with that front body opening. So lift the elbows and then lift the head and the hands and just working it there so the legs are strong. The feet can be a little wide apart. Kneecaps lifting. Pubic triangle pressing. Doesn't matter how high come. Think about length here. And take another breath in. And exhale, lower that down. Let's do again. Press the tops of the feet, draw the belly in, press the front of the pelvis, lift the elbows, inhale. And then exhale, lift the forehead and the hands. And let the arms open up into a cactus shape. Squeezing the elbows back and in. Maybe bringing the hands in a little bit closer and lifting the elbows towards the ceiling. Option to float the legs as well from the upper thighs for another breath. Exhale to lower. Release the arms at the sides and turn the head in one direction.
Take the legs back a little bit longer and take the knees to bent and have the knees quite wide apart, but have the big toe edges of the feet come into touch. Turn your head the opposite direction. Come back to center. You can either keep your arms at your sides with the palms up or back to the forehead resting on the palms. We're just going to squeeze the bum cheeks and see if we can get lighter in the legs. We'll just do that a couple of times. So squeeze the bum cheeks, and we're keeping the knees bent and the feet together and the knees quite wide and kind of pulsing to let's get into a bit of glute strength, hamstrings for 3, 2, and 1. Exhale. Release the legs. You might give your hips a little shake. Let's slide the left knee out to the side. So you might need to put a little padding, maybe that blanket underneath it, and have yourself in sort of a can opener shape. Either the forehead coming back down, just resting your chest, or it can be a sphinx, more of a sphinx pose with the hands clasped or wide. Try to keep the outer left hip dropping, so we're stretching the inner thigh, the adductor on that side again. I also feel quite a bit in the right hip flexor psoas. Let's take a couple more breaths there. Slowly lower. And slide that knee back in, and we'll do the other side. So you can position your right knee in line with your hip or wherever you can get it to. And you might put some padding underneath there. Stretch back through the left leg and try to let the right side of your pelvis be heavy towards the floor. It won't be touching the floor. So you can come up into a sphinx pose and take a few breaths there and actively feel like you're lengthening out through this right knee. Or just rest the forehead down if that's better in the back. And take 3 full breath cycles there. That grounding, feeling the belly, connecting and expanding with the earth. And the lift of the back body as well. One more inhale. And exhale, slide that leg in. Let's press it up and back into a child's pose now. Knees together, or knees can be wide, but sitting back towards the heels. If you'd rather be on your back, you can just do that. Any shape that gives you that nice filling in of the entire back, length along the spine. Inhale. And exhale. Let's slip the hips over to one side and bring the legs forward. Let's bend the knees and come back just a little bit. Exhale. And then inhale, lift it up. Exhale, roll it back. You can hold on to your legs. Inhale, try to keep your big toes pressing towards the floor as you roll it all the way back down. Coming onto the back and walking the knees in, letting the shins float to parallel with the floor, or you can keep the feet right on the floor. Have your hands to your thighs and just give a really good press. See if you can still feel a bit of space underneath your lower back. So you keep your neutral pelvis. Inhale, relax that, and then exhale, give it a press. Pressing hands and thighs. One more time, breathing in. And exhale, press. And then bring the left foot to the floor. Stretch the right leg up towards the ceiling. You can just reach it up through the heel to open up the back line of the leg, or if your hands can reach, go for it. 3 breaths there. Minimizing the strain or the effort though. Just allowing the breath to find space behind the knee, hamstring. Let's circle out the ankle. You don't have to hold on to the leg. Just do a few circles in there. And then you might make some space. You might need to
let the left leg straighten out a little bit, opening up the arms or grabbing the sides of your mat. So we're going to take the leg over towards the left. And we're not going to hold the leg or anything. We're just going to take it there and then bring it back up to center and then take it over towards the right. You can let the toes turn out a little bit, but keep the left hip down. Back through center, inhale and exhale the leg over towards the left. Actively grounding back and down through the right hip. Center on the inhale. Toes turn out. Leg moves out to the right and a little towards the top right corner of wherever you are. Left hip stays heavy. One more time, inhale. Exhale to the left. Inhale through center and just hold the leg there. Just have it kind of hovering towards the ceiling and do some little circles on the ceiling. So just more of a stirring of that thigh bone in the socket. And changing direction. Tracing the circle, maybe the size of a softball or a melon. Reach that leg up, breathing in and slowly start to lower it down. Take your time. Draw a little tighter that belt at your waist and let the leg go. Take a full body stretch out. Inhale. And exhale. Let's bend the knees again. Feet can stay on the floor or hover the shins and press the thighs away. Floating ribs drop down towards the hips. Inhale, release. And exhale, press thighs away. Inhale, release, and exhale, press. And then release just the right foot to the floor and take the left leg to the ceiling. Reaching it up to feel the back line stretch or holding it. You can bend the knee. Opening up behind the knee, ankle, hamstring. Let's circle that out. Circling the ankle. No special breathing, just now and then noticing that breath is here. And thoughts for sure are here, but just not as enticing. Pausing on the circles of that to position the arms away from the body or hold the sides of your mat and let the right leg slide out a little bit. So you have some space to take this left leg towards the right, exhale. Center, inhale. External rotation, and then take the leg a little to the left, but the right hip wants to lift up. Don't let it. Inhale, center, and exhale, waving it over towards the right. So your left hip will lift up. That's okay, but energetically draw back. Inhale, center, and switch it open. And one more time. Inhale, right. And come back to center. Press up through that heel and then slowly start to lower the leg. Take your time, point the toes and feel the length of that front hip. Release the legs there and deep breath in through the nose and flop the feet a little side to side. Let's have the knees bend now and come into touch and open arms to cactus. Let the knees fall over towards the left. Wiggle the feet a little further apart, just to where you feel some more opening along that femur, quad, right side, or add the weight of your left heel above your right knee. Not just keeping the respectful manners towards the body and not pushing it beyond those boundaries where there may be unnecessary pain. And back up to center. Cross the left ankle above the right knee if it's not already and level out the hips. Walk your fingers down towards your right heel and then just press down through your low back and lift the hips up just a little bit and then lower the hips back down. Keep a strong flex in the left ankle as you lift the hips, inhale and lower back down.
One more time, lift the hips, reach the left knee away. Exhale, lower. Draw the right knee towards the chest and rock a little side to side. Try to keep your tailbone heavy towards the earth, or just keep your right foot on the floor and kind of press, encourage your left inner thigh to open. Once more, breathing in. Exhale and release that leg, give it a shake. Feet to the floor, knees together, feet wide. Arms away from the body and knees falling over to the right. Wiggle the feet reasonably wide so you feel something in the left hip flexor psoas, and maybe that's it. You can add the weight of the right ankle on the left upper thigh or just above the knee as an option. There will be an arch in the lower back, but it's moderated by the strength of the core. Let's start to bring the knees back up. So if you've crossed the ankle, just keep it there and level out the hips again, walking the left foot back in line underneath the knee and press the thighs away. Bring your fingers to the floor, palms facing down, arms strong, press the low back to the floor, and then just lift the hips any amount. And then exhale, tap the hips down. As you lift the hips on the inhale, reach the right knee away. Exhale, tap it down. Last time, breathing in. Exhale, come down and either stay there or draw the left knee towards the chest for the figure four. Wrap of the hands around the left hamstring. Exhale, releasing from this pose and giving the right leg a few shakes just to kick it off. Let's bring the feet to the floor and hug the knees in towards the chest and just rock a little side to side. Either coming all the way over to one side, or you can rock forward and back to come up. If you don't feel like coming up and want to take a nap, you can do that. It's a short class, so I'm just giving an optional last bit of time together that we just come into sitting meditation posture. Your hips can be boosted up a little bit. And I've got a little dinger here that I'll just ring the bell. We'll just take 1 minute together, breathing and experiencing the whatever's here with an open, friendly, compassionate mind. Whatever's here is perfect. Big picture of the body and the shape. Grounding energy, apana, and uplifting, more active energy, prana as well. Maybe a little more balanced, maybe not. Sound, thoughts, all of it just passing experience. In a moment, you'll hear the sound of the bell to close out our session. Blink the eyes open, rub the palms together. And with the eyes open, just rest the palms over the eyes. The field of vision, light, darkness, shapes, whatever's here. Sliding the hands down to the heart center and giving yourself a nod, some gratitude for this body, this breath, this community, each other here, doing our best this afternoon. Namaste.
we'll just slide over to turn the recording off and say bye.